I really hope that you can see this and that you can see it well, because otherwise this whole thing was pointless. But the reason that I'm making this video is because that every fourth Wing and Iron Flame recap that I've seen is either like 3 hours long or really complicated. So this is like the super summarized version, kind of. I don't really know how long this video is going to be, but I'm not going to go into like so much detail that is giving chapter by chapter, because you can just listen to the Fantasy Fangirls podcast or watch Albat's video for that. But because on the 21st of January, which is like just under a week from now, the Onyx Storm is going to be released, and I was like, I kind of need to remember what happened in Fourth Wing and in Iron Flame, and honestly I could not tell you like half the stuff that's happened. Luckily I have people around me that have read it after me, so they've been like talking to me about it or like asking me questions, so that's kind of jogged my memory. But and I listen to the podcasts like and stuff like that, but I thought this was like a really good idea to condense all of the views, all of the things into one, and tell you the very bare bones of what you need to know, so that you don't have to watch a 3-hour video or listen to like 20 episodes of a podcast or reread the book before next Tuesday or 21st of January or whenever it is that you're going to read Onyx Storm or audio listen to Onyx Storm. Although I don't know how people listen to audiobooks of things like fantasy things where there's world building and like weird names and stuff, because I cannot for the life of me keep track of any of that. So bear with me, because I've never done this before. This is kind of new to me, but I love watching these, and this will make it clearer for me, and hopefully it will be clearer for you, so that you can go in and read Onyx Storm without any problems. But I will say that I'm intending for this video to be somewhere in the 20 to 30 minute range, and I don't know if it's going to be like that. So fingers crossed. Here you can see my screen. I don't know how well you can see it, because if I zoom in too much, you can't really see me, although I'm kind of irrelevant to this. So maybe I'll just zoom in a little bit more to this right now. Sorry that my big head is now going to be in it. There we go. Yes, so I'm going to be popping in and out like this, so don't mind me. Hopefully you can see the whole screen. I think so. I don't really know. Anyway, so that's what's going to happen. So let's get to it. So Fourth Wing, very, very brief summary to summarize the summary, if that makes any sense, is dragons, betrayals, a little bit of spice, I guess. Fourth Wing is by Rebecca Yarros. I believe this is actually her first fantasy book writing. Before this, she wrote a lot of military romance fiction. I'm not going to go into her backstory though, but essentially Fourth Wing is about surviving a college where it's not just about passing your exams, but you need to survive. Essentially, you have to survive college, not just by passing your exams. And it's about not getting roasted, like literally. Fair warning, I think you would have known this if you clicked on this, but this video is going to include quite a lot of spoilers, although I'm not going into the nitty-gritty granular detail of the book. So proceed at your own risk. I would recommend, if you haven't read it, don't just go on to the third one, read books 1 and 2, but this is just a recap of Fourth Wing, and if it goes well, I'll also do a recap of Iron Flame. So let's get to it. Okay, so let's get into this. So this is your guide to dragon riding chaos, which all starts at Bethgaiath War College. Now, if you've ever wondered what Hogwarts would be like if dragons were involved and you had a kill or be killed curriculum, then this is exactly what Fourth Wing is about. So first, let's move in and look at the world. So Fourth Wing is set in a militaristic society where you have the Kingdom of Navarre, which is where Bethgaiath College is located. And Navarre relies on its dragons and dragon riders. Very important distinction, because we'll come to that in a minute. people who fly dragons are called dragon riders, okay? Keep that in mind, please. And they use them to defend against threats, which include the mysterious griffins and griffin flyers. Do you see where the distinction's coming in? So you have a dragon with a rider and a griffin with a flyer. And they think that the griffins are the enemy. Think being the spoiler. And there is, of course, a rebellion going on, which they believe the rebellions are supporting the griffin flyers. We'll get more into that in a second. And Beskayeth War College is split into different quadrants. So you have the places where cadets can train to become dragon riders, healers, or scribes in these quadrants. However, the riders quadrant is the most brutal of them all. Survival is not guaranteed, and of course the dragons, they're powerful, intelligent, and will roast you if you're not worthy. The riders quadrant is very much based on the fact that we're dictated by the dragons. Like, yes, we'll be bonded to a dragon, but the dragons are the ones that are in charge, and they've got their own little political thing going on behind the scenes that like nobody is privy to, and nobody like really knows what's going on with them. Throw in a deadly war, political intrigue, and a brewing rebellion. There's danger everywhere. Now let's move on to our protagonist. And our protagonist is Violet Sorrengail. Please keep that in mind. She's not your typical hero. Physically, she's smaller, frail due to a chronic condition. And she's much more at home with her books than she is in, like, with battle and stuff like that. But her mother, General Sorrengail, I'm just rubbing everything out here. I apologise. Hello? What's going on? There we go. Her mother, General Sorrengail, who happens to be like basically the head teacher kind of Beskayeth War College, is like, hun, you're not going to follow in your late father's footsteps as a scribe, and instead you're going to go and be a rider like your brother and sister. Even though she has a chronic condition, she really shouldn't be putting in it. Anyway, whatever. But is she going to survive there? Probably. The odds are against her, like probably not, because training is like a death trap. Violet faces sabotage from other cadets who want to see her fail, combat training that's practically designed to kill her, scaling walls that defy all logic, and then there's the main thing, which is her enemy, Xaden Ryerson. Now, Xaden is her sworn enemy, thanks to her mom executing his parents. Or at least his dad. We don't know about all of it, okay? Just saying. So there's all that going on. That's kind of awkward, isn't it? But here's where things get interesting, because to become a rider, Violet has to bond with a dragon. Question mark. But dragons are picky. Most cadets get 1, but Violet, she gets 2. She gets 10. That's how I'm saying it. I don't know if that's correct. And she gets Andana. Now, 10 is an ancient, no-nonsense, battle-hardened dragon, whereas Andana is a rare golden baby dragon who looks cute, but she's supposed to be a total powerhouse. Now, the dragons give Violet some powers, but as we know, with great power comes great, I suppose to be responsibility, but I'm going to say danger here. And now she is basically the prime target in this game of survival, because obviously you want to, like, it's like The Biggest Loser. You want to knock out who's actually good, innit? But there's more. Violet doesn't just bond with 2 dragons. She also discovers her signet power, which is what you get from... Sorry, I'm really messing all this up. What you get from your dragon. So she's going to essentially get 2, potentially, because she gets 1 from each of her dragons. So she discovers her signet power, a magical ability that manifests from her bond with her dragon. So what is it? For now, what we know it is wielding lightning. That means, yes, she can control the very forces of nature, and it's a game changer. With her newfound power, Violet can now fry her enemies, battle wyverns with ease, turning the tide of a war in a way which is not expected. But having lightning at your fingertips doesn't just make you a powerful ally, but also a target. Violet's power and her dragons put her in the crosshairs of both her friends and her enemies alike. The Riders Quadrant is a cutthroat place where there is sabotage, duels, friendships, that are rarer than a dragon smiling. Violet manages to make a few allies like Dane, who is her overprotective bestie from before she joined the Riders Quadrant, and Xaden, her sworn enemy, who somehow ends up saving her every time, and their relationship tense, sarcastic, and full of mutual trust issues. Spoiler alert, there is an enemies to lovers thing here that happens between Xaden and Violet. This is getting real messy. I'm really sorry. Also, I realize that this is not in the center. Don't worry about that. Just don't worry about it. Xaden's all broody, morally grey. Violet can't decide whether she wants to punch him or kiss him. Spoiler within a spoiler. She picks both. Just when Violet thinks that she's got this dragon riding thing under control, the author, Rebecca Yarros, drops a huge bombshell. Turns out that Griffin Riders are not the biggest threat, but instead we should be looking at Wyvern and Venin. So Wyvern are the flyy thing. I think they fly. And Venin are the people that ride them, okay? Because that took me ages to figure out. These dark magic-powered enemies are infiltrating Navarre and other key figures, which includes Violet's own mother, who has been covering it up to maintain her power. And it gets worse. There's a hidden laboratory with secret experiments, and the real war is just a smokescreen for something much, much, much darker. Violet's power makes her a huge target, and she's uncovering dangerous truths and that she's been taught to trust. Lives are lost, alliances shatter, and Violet's resolve is tested like never before. But here's the twist that hits Violet the hardest. Violet discovers that her brother, who she believed had been killed during the rebellion, is actually alive. Please note, Xaden's father was killed because they believed that he killed Violet's brother. Violet's brother's flipping alive. That's what you find out. And he's been part of the revolutionaries and has been working behind the scenes to take down the corrupt leaders in Navarre. Did I circle Brennan? No, I didn't. I have now. I didn't even mention the gauntlet. The gauntlet is like this scary thing that you need to do before you can even get into the Riders Quadrant. So it's like you don't have training for it, you just do it to see if you have potential or some crap like that. Anyway, the revelation throws Violet into a whirlwind of emotions, adding yet another layer of betrayal to the story. So basically, that's Fourth Wing in a nutshell. Rebecca Yarros has created a beautiful world. So with Onyx Storm, like literally just about to hit the shelves, like really soon, it's important that you like kind of remember all of that. So there's the key things you need to remember, I guess. Sorry that this was crazy and probably meant nothing, but I love videos where they do this whole like back and forth. So Onyx Storm is going to be released on January 21st. I don't know if you're going to read it then, but I hope this summarized what you needed to know. Essentially, she joins a scary college that she was never supposed to be part of. She could die because that's basically once you're in, you're in. The only way you're leaving is if you're going to die. So either you survive or you don't. If you to survive, you need to get picked by a dragon. No guarantees you're going to get picked by a dragon. She happens to get picked by 2 dragons. Even the dragons are like, well, why are 2 of them? Anyway, but so she gets 1 like seasoned dragon and 1 like baby dragon who's just like doing her own thing, proper sassy queen. And then she's also got this like side romance thing going on with her potential enemy, who is, oh, I didn't even mention, basically her seasoned dragon is bonded to another dragon. And who's that dragon's rider? Xaden, of course. So they're like connected like that because they've got this other random bond that's going on in the middle. And then she's trying to survive by passing all the tests and everything. Because if you don't pass the test, you either die or you get kicked out, or you don't bond with your dragon, la la la, all of that. Then once she's getting towards the end of like the first year, she goes off as one of the battles, and I didn't even say that Dane's, like flipping Dane's dad, basically sends them to their death to fight the Griffin Flyers, whatever. But then the Griffin Flyers are not even the issue. It's the Wyvern and the Venin, and the Venin are there, and they're going to try and kill them. Luckily, they manage to survive, but other people die, like Violet and Xaden and that survive. But there's other people in the team that don't. Spoiler, Liam, I'm so sorry for you. You deserved better. But then they're like, oh, what? And then she goes back to like the camp, and then that's when she discovers her brother's alive. And guess who? Guess what? Zayden, her now kind of boyfriend, knew about it this whole time. That was the summary that you needed, okay? I didn't realize you needed it spelled out like that, but that. I've just plopped that right from my brain right there. Script for what? I didn't need a script. I didn't need one. I didn't need this like bookworms back here. Anyway, I will be doing an Iron Flame one soon. Okay? I hope this helped. Bye.